The Subnautica universe is a reality vastly different to the one we currently live in. Humanity has surpassed the limitations of space travel, discovered life among the stars, and even inhabited many of these life-filled planets. As we discover from the databank entry discussing Strader 6, and the voice logs discussing Abraxas Prime and Boreal 9, new governmental systems known as transgovs now govern the human population spread throughout the galaxy. These transgovs are defined as an independent authority in de facto control of at least one solar system and phase gate. Most of these transgovs agree to a legal contract known as the Charter, which outlines the requirements for an organization to become a transgov, as well as outlining multiple rules these transgovs must follow. Humanity has even obtained the ability to enhance their own body, as we can learn from the case of Paul Torgal, a member of the Mongolian Independent States and survivor of the Degasi, who enhanced his own body in order to live longer than the normal human lifespan. No doubt there are countless other achievements I have not listed here. As we study this vastly different universe than our own, many of us may wonder about the planet of human origins. Planet Earth, a small blue ball drifting through the vastness that is space. The beautiful ball that is our origin. What happened to this planet? Is it still around? Do people still live on it? Well, in this video, you're going to find out. Also, if you do end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. It's completely free. But without any further ado, let's get right into the video. As it turns out, the PDA gives us a huge hint from an unlikely place. After the Aurora explodes in Subnautica, the PDA automatically provides the player with a radiation suit blueprint. Along with this blueprint comes a PDA entry. The very bottom of many PDA entries on authentic Altera technology often includes a funny Alteran catch line. This line for the radiation suit is extremely important in understanding what has become of our home planet. This line reads, "The radiation suit, a necessary precaution in a post-mad world." Let's break this sentence apart, because at first many of you may not understand exactly what this means. Necessary refers to something that is required to be done, or absolutely needed. A precaution is a measure taken in advance to prevent something from happening. Generally, this refers to preventing something bad from happening. Post is a word meaning after or later. Many of you already know this, but what about MAD? What does MAD, or MAD, stand for? Well, in order for you to understand this concept, it's time for me to give you a quick history lesson. The Cold War was a period of geopolitical tension between the two world superpowers at the time, the USA and the USSR. Following the end of World War II, the USSR and its communist allies became incredibly distrustful of the United States and its democratic allies, and vice versa. Both sides underwent intense espionage and began to stockpile weapons in case conflict ever broke out. The most specific of these stockpiled weapons were nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons were first developed by the United States. 2 of these devastating bombs were dropped on Japan, which helped secure their surrender, although at a devastating cost. Shortly after their first usage, the Soviet Union began their own nuclear program, and the arms race began, with both sides competing for the best weapons, more specifically nuclear weapons. As time progressed, the Cold War began to become incredibly intense, and both sides feared a nuclear war was imminent. In fact, there were a large number of close calls. For example, the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, when both sides were this close to ending the world as we knew it. And the whole point of this short history lesson, the reason neither side ever dropped nuclear bombs on each other, was because of this acronym, MAD. MAD stands for Mutually Assured Destruction. Both sides knew that if they ever dropped nuclear bombs on their enemies, the other side would in turn drop nuclear bombs on them as well, destroying themselves along with destroying their targets. This assured destruction on both sides is generally attributed to why no bombs were ever dropped, although once again it came very close on multiple separate occasions. Now that we have a general understanding of what this sentence means, we can delve a little further into what mutually assured destruction would actually mean. Let's take a look at possible causes of this mutually assured destruction, and then also discuss the effects mutually assured destruction would bring and how it would leave the planet. Obviously, the most likely cause for this type of destruction is a nuclear war. But how would this nuclear war come to be? We don't exactly know for sure, but the PDA gives us yet another hint in the entry discussing the Altera Corp that says, during the expansion, Altera supplied arms to all sides, acquiring and housing a vast colonist workforce, and making the transition from manufacturer to corporate state. Altera's threat to cease trade was one of the turning points in the conflict, bringing about the end to hostilities and the signing of the Charter. This gives us a huge hint regarding what could have caused this conflict. The Great Expansion likely refers to humanity learning important information regarding space travel, and using this information to reach other planets, discover life, and establish colonies, discovering new technology and innovations all the while. After this expansion, this PDA entry gives us evidence of a war between the newly established transgovs and world governments, all competing for resources and territory. It is highly likely that the mutually assured destruction or nuclear war mentioned in the radiation suit entry was caused by this war. The competition for resources, technology, and territory would have escalated until it eventually resulted in a nuclear war, obliterating most of the Earth and leaving the rest as a nuclear wasteland. As the PDA mentions, Altera threatened to cease trade, which was a huge turning point in this conflict, resulting in the creation and signing of the Charter, which once again outlines the requirements and rules a transgov must follow. This is likely how this mutually assured destruction came to be, and it's very sad that in this reality Earth was likely left as a nuclear wasteland. The PDA entry on the cuttlefish tells us a sad truth and further supports this theory, saying, as was observed in Earth dolphins before their extinction, this creature seems to understand the concept of other minds. This very well may be the sad truth regarding the fate of planet Earth. But could some species still be alive? What would such a nuclear disaster look like? Let's look at some possible effects of a worldwide nuclear war. During this war between transgovs, nuclear bombs far larger than the ones we currently have today would likely be used, targeting large cities and important rival corporation equipment. These bombs would instantly vaporize huge portions of the world. However, the real danger of a nuclear war is what happens after the bombs are launched. The impact of such bombs would launch tons of nuclear smoke and dust into the atmosphere, blanketing the Earth and reflecting the sun's warmth. This would result in a nuclear winter in which mass starvation and temperature drops would kill billions, not to mention the nuclear poisoning caused by the radioactive dust raining down on the inhabitants of the planet. The good news is that many regions would be affected less than others, for example island nations, so it is possible that Earth in this reality is still intact in some places, and humans may still live on the surface, although admittedly not very many would. Animals would be affected drastically as well, with many dying off in a massive extinction event. However, this would likely not mean total destruction, although most of humanity will leave the shell of their former home behind, in search of better locations in the galaxy, which would be more hospitable to human life, leaving planet Earth behind to recover from the atrocities humanity has brought upon it. But it's important to emphasize that the planet would eventually recover, and that some species could live on. It would take millions of years for the planet to recover completely, but it would likely not be the end for this magical planet, and perhaps it's for the best that humanity has left this planet to recover after everything they've brought upon it. All in all, Earth in the Subnautica universe is likely a nuclear wasteland, as we are hinted at by multiple PDA entries in Subnautica. While most species in this reality have been forced to extinction, others live on, possibly mutated by the radioactive fallout. The planet slowly recovers over the course of millions of years, and although this is extremely sad, life goes on far after humanity has inevitably destroyed itself.
Give more love with K Jewelers. Get 25 to 50% off everything for Valentine's Day.
Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this theory. Is there anything I've missed? Do you think I'm right or wrong? Any questions or concerns? Please let me know. Remember, this is just a theory and largely based on speculation. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, it's free, plus it helps me out a ton. Help me reach 25,000 subscribers as fast as possible. Also, please check out my other Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero content, you may like it. Be sure to check out my Discord server and Twitch channel. The links are in the description. If you want to be awesome, please support me on Patreon. Thanks to my patrons, Sir Lord Mister, Electrobite, Skeptic, Baby Yoda, and King Nocho. Become a patron and support today. The link is in the description as well. And I will see you guys in the next video.